Hey guys, so you know that sometimes when I get absent doing videos, it's because I get either tired, or that I'm busy doing something else, or, like I couldn't do the part two of Heather yesterday because my mother came back from work, early yesterday because, when you're in your 50s, you gotta check if you're having cancer or not. That's if you're like working at a job, you gotta they're gonna check if you have cancer or not. So, oh, actually, anyway, one thing, she doesn't have cancer. Don't worry. All right, so let's get to part two. So, in August 1st, 2022, I saw Heather again. We didn't have any problems there, so I'm not gonna talk about that. We didn't meet again until my birthday in 2023. And I didn't like it when she was asking me the question because she was reacting over me not answering her question, and we had to talk about that. We were talking about uh we were talking about if what she said was mean, it was not nice, and she was like, I understand, like, but we did throw axes together. We did have all that all that good stuff. Like throw. I mean, we threw axes at the targets. That's where we were at that place. We also had I also had a pool there. And speaking of that, we did play a pool game in Halloween, which I'll get to that later. But hold on. Sorry, I know this is not relevant, but I gotta get to Anasia said that she doesn't. She agreed with my mother and Sheila that I shouldn't be going to Andrew's room. I understand what she's saying, but that still is mean. Okay, you're my friend, and you are betraying me. We were talking about that outside the phone on my birthday. Anyway, um, so it was on Halloween, 2023, and we were at the karaoke place. Me, Andrew, Steven, and Heather. We were all at the karaoke place. We were doing that because it was too early to go to the scary maze. Um, so we were playing the poker game. Or no, was it poker game? No, pool. We're playing a pool game, and Heather was just saying to me, "Go, it's your turn, go." And I think Andrew was acting like that too. I have no idea. But I know Heather was acting like that too. She was like trying to get me to start playing it. Like said, you have to do this. All you have to do is do this. All you have to do is do that. I hated that. Okay, so I had kind of lashed out, and I was like, "Stop being mean. I hate this. All right, I'm done with this." Like I say, you're not gonna talk to me like that, and she's like, "No, no, no, you're not gonna talk like that here." I hated that. And also, when I told Heather that she wouldn't let me express my emotions, she said, "Okay, I cannot have you." She explained to me on Halloween 2025 that I can't let you have like something from somebody that influenced you to get to this like in front of everybody. That's like makes a scene. She didn't say make a scene. She said like causes like people's reactions, like something like that. Like we're in a public place. Like I hated that she was justifying that, explaining to me why she was doing that. That was still wrong what she was doing. We had a fun time. We went to the scary maze, but what I hate about is that when I was like going that way and instead we were going home, she said, "Well, William," she said, "William, come on, like this way," like something like that. And also, Andrew didn't get scared. He was like, "Hey guys," like he was ahead of us, finishing the scary maze, and then we went, and then we didn't meet again until Valentine's Day 2024. There was nothing bad, but other than her like saying to me, "Well, aren't you gonna dance?" All right, buddy, something like that. Then another time, later that day, later that night, we wanted to. I gotta get something like oh yeah, it was on February 16th, 2024. This is Valentine's. It was a late Valentine's party, so I had she told me to get some treats, like, oh! Oh, right, I forgot. There was a Valentine's Day party. Okay, so it was a Valentine's Day party, and we were sitting at seats right in front of a bar. And I wanted to go behind it, and she said, "No, you can't do that, William. That's a law. It really is." Like, I hated that. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, and another time when me and Andrew were arguing, and then Heather's like saying, "Hey, stop it." I think she was only telling me to stop it. And then like, even though that I told him to shut up because of what he said that got me upset. And then I said to King, and he said Dick, and then Andrew said that to me, and we couldn't even. He said all that back to me, like even when I was outside the gas station. I wanted to go to Heather and tell her that I didn't like what he was talking to me like that. And he said, "William, go inside." And I argued, and I want to say something back. I didn't want to go back, and then she said, "William, go. She's gonna get what she deserves, okay? She's gonna get harassed," is what I'm saying. Anyway, so after us arguing, um, we then went back inside. Uh, oh yeah, when Heather was talking about Andrew, like, "Why are you guys arguing?" And Andrew like was like saying, "Well, William doesn't want me to doesn't think I am his brother," like something like that. Because earlier we had an argument about me being don't not refusing to believe that I am his brother, that we're brothers. So, that was like March 2022 that they and Andrew were arguing, and then the Valentine's party was like February 11th, 2022. But when we back in beginning back to 2024 Valentine's party, she told me to go put some sweets in, like, but I took a plate with me, and she said, "Well, you have a plate with William. Why are you not putting these in your bag?" And I said I had to play about it, and she said, "Honey, you're supposed to put them in the bag," or "Sweetie, you're supposed to put them in the bag." I hate when she said that, and she's like, "I guess I'll cry. You could just take the bag and the plate." Like, then, um, we didn't meet each other again until a year later, February 21st, 2025. It's kind of surprised to see her again since I hadn't seen her in a year. So. Oh, no, no, no. She did pick me up. But, my father instead took me there because, she was telling my father to come get me because she, didn't want to, because she was busy. But my father didn't even know where that place was at. And I didn't know where it was either. I thought he knew. But if it turns out he didn't. And he got upset at me for no reason. Well, I don't know about upset, but he still, like. And then he. So then we went around, like, it was stressful out. I had to call, and, like, give a voice message. And it turned out when I was about to finish my voice message, we found the place finally. I found the place there at the Valentine's party. And of course, my parents had to make sure that I was there. And also, yeah. And also, I was like, "How did you find that place, Steven?" And he said, "Well, there was no other place to find it." I fucking hate that. But anyway, so we had a fun time at a party. I lost that Inman that on the floor that apparently they had to throw it away. That was a waste, okay? I hate it with that they threw away that Inman that I wanted to eat. Like, I had it for a prize there. So then later, there's nothing bad there other than, like, there's somebody, like, telling me, getting me to the center, and Heather was like, "I've been trying to get you to the center." So, I wanted to ask what that was, and they didn't really explain to me. And it turned out I actually was at the center before, like on March 31st, 2022. Yep. I think, I did go into, the center. I didn't have any problems with Heather because she dropped me off there. She dropped me off there with all these kids and these parents. So, sorry, I'm thinking. So we had a talk. Like I was thinking, we were having a talk on the phone. Like scheduling a talk on, I guess on Monday, February 25th. We talked, and I told her, like when we were talking on the phone with her mother, she said hey to my mother, William, and I said hey. I said I didn't know that we could talk to two people in one call, and cause she was not present with Heather, and then I was like, it's okay, William. I fucking hated that they knew about it before I did. But so I'm sorry for hesitating, but it is just too much to talk about, and I wanted to get this part done. I already set it up for the second part, to be the last thing to talk about. But let's get to anyway. So on March 3rd, we had a plan. Like I was thinking of texting her, like tell me you gotta let me know at 9:30. So I had to, I guess I forgot about that. She said that, like, by texting her. So I was waiting for her to come and get me, but instead, um, I was like, I was texting her, where are you at? You said 9:30, and she said, you were supposed to text me, and I said, well, I was already getting ready for 9:30, so there's no need for me to text, like, and then, well, I didn't say that twice, but that's just what I didn't say there's no need for me to text you twice. I said that once, but then he said, I'm not a fortune teller, buddy, with LOL, or I'm not a mind reader, buddy, or whatever she said with LOL. Like, that's what, I mean, she said, I'm not a mind reader, LOL. And then I asked her why she said LOL one day, and she said, because that's just how I talk. But I wanted the people to think I am different and I want to be so different and special. So I met this cafeteria lady that for back in high school. And so it was just on the day that I was meeting with all these people, March 3rd, 2025, and I told them that I'm the only child. But even though I'm neither an only child or a sibling, I have no family. So I told her I was the only child, and and I thought that was better for me. They thought that me and Heather were siblings. And I said, no, she's like 10 years older than me. And then I said, oh, that can happen. Siblings that are a decade apart. I already knew about that. But anyway. Her and all these friends, we talked, like, I met at the Valentine's parties. And then Heather showed up, and she said that, hi, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, you guys, we're not... we were talking about you, and Heather said, you're not supposed to talk about me. I am not you. And I said, and then I said, okay, and I am not you. I hated when she was talking like that. So then, one thing that embarrassed me, what all started it, is that, the cafeteria lady said to Heather that, that he's the only, that he said he doesn't have a sibling. And then as Heather was sitting down, like, hold on, like this, she was like saying, he does have a sibling. And then everyone was like, and then the cafeteria lady, everyone was like, what? And the cafeteria was like, what? Wouldn't you lie to me? Like, something like that. And then she said, and then I just kindly said, shut up to Heather. And then I was like, she said, hey, like, and then I was like, hey, and I was like, you can't say that. And like, I was explaining, no, we can't lie. Like, something like that. She was like, and then, like, oh yeah, one time on a Halloween, I got mad to, like, at the pool, like, or, like, I was like, ugh, or, like, ugh. But then she's like, do this with your tassel, and I was like, ugh. Oh yeah, I also forgot to tell you guys, she told me to, she helped me tie the bow into the tassels into a bow. in the coat because I got cold. I tried to do it again, but she like tied it up again for me. And then I said, "Can you help me tie it again?" And she said, "No, you gotta have to learn how to do it yourself." When I explained to her why about that, she said that she said it because you had to do it yourself. That was not a good answer. So instead, I had to get help from another Heather Allman from Music on Main, and she told me that you have to learn how to be independent because when I tell my kids like one day something, what if someday like your shoes get untied by yourself or something like or something bad happens, you got to do something for yourself. She was saying that in a nice way, but Heather Stansel did not. But Heather Stansel, getting back to what I was talking about, like, she was saying that I do have a sibling, even though I still do not, because I could still not have a sibling. So I was saying to her that he's too ugly to be my brother, and then, oh yeah, and, what was I saying, and I caused an embarrassment, so I was very embarrassed, and then the cafeteria lady, like one day, like I think May 15th, she came up to me and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" She said, "Hey," I was like, "Hi," and he's like, "You're, guess you're shy saying hey like that," and Heather's like, "Yeah," like, well, whatever they were saying, something like that. But we were leaving, and so me and Heather, I said to Heather that oh yeah, right. Another thing in the conversation is that, we were talking about, I was saying to her that I wasn't saying shut up in a mean way, and he said, I didn't mean to say that, and she said, yeah, you did. I was trying to be nice, to let her know I didn't mean to, and I was not trying to continue the argument. But no, she wanted to continue the argument by saying, no, you're not. Like, I hated that. And then, so then the other day, I was talking about, oh, no, when we were leaving that same day, March 3rd, we hung home, and I said that I was not trying to, what was I saying? Forgot. I'm gonna pause this. Oh yeah, so I said that I still won. I won the conversation. She said, no, you did not. I was trying to make myself feel better, but no, she didn't make myself feel better, okay? And also, I had to tell her a lie that I was actually joking and I did not mean to say that that I won the conversation. Of course I would not. And I had to lie about being a narcissist as an excuse, like, because I was thinking, like, narcissists can do whatever they want, and I know what you're saying, all that's true, but I know that, but you gotta understand that narcissists, that's what they care about themselves, that's what they do, and so she takes me there, when she takes me to, the center, and anyway, that was March 27th when I told her, and so, when she was taking me home, I was telling her, like, telling her about, like, me and Aiden dressed up as the queens of Naboo. I'd be, like, Queen Niatni, and he could be, Queen Apolana. And then she said, what's significant in women? And I didn't know what significant mean. I didn't know what significant means. So, I try to, like, give her an answer give her a right answer, because I didn't know what significance what is. So, she, like, constantly, like, said, like, what? I asked you this, I asked you that. I thought she was demanding a question. So I gave her an answer. I thought that's what it means, like, saying that because I like girls stuff. And she said, oh, I said, is that the answer you want? And she said, yes. And she said, always demanding me questions. She said, hey, I'm not demanding you a question, okay? And I started, like, arguing with her. And she's like, hey, no. Stop that. Like, I said, no, you stop it. No. I said, you stop. All right, stop it. And then I was just like telling her to calm down, and she's like, oh, and when I explained that to her, why she was talking like that to me, and she said, look, Willie, you were angry, okay? And she gave me that face like, Like with that white person face. Speaking of that, I told her that cause she's pointing at me because she's a white person, and she said, "I'm not pointing you because I'm white." I say, "I'm pointing you back," and she's like, "Here's a pointing back," and like she points at me back, and so that's it with that March 3rd. But then on March 27th, it was worse. Okay, they were telling Heather what I was saying about her, even though I was just saying that to make myself feel better. I get that it was bad because like snitching. But still, they go over there, go ahead and tell on her about what I said about her, and especially about this Logan guy that I'll never forgive or forget. I would like to attack him in a harassment letter to Heather, but not in a mean way. So and if you want to know what's more annoying, I think it was unfair that he was telling on her again because I was because she was because I was telling him that that Heather told me to not talk about her again. But he went and told her about what I said about her just because I said that. Really, that was so. And also before that, Heather was just warning me about like when don't tell anyone about me, okay? Like da 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 da, like with the face. I hate that. So like she said, this is serious, okay? You don't need to tell me about my personal life, okay? Like something like that she's being serious about. So I did what she said, and that's why I told Logan that she told me to not talk about her. But then he went over there and told her anyway, like even though that doesn't even count. So I then oh yeah, I called her. So I said to her that oh yeah, and another thing, we were trying to go home. She said that you don't need to call Andrew like that, like call him too ugly to be your brother. He's your brother. Remember that? Like you need to be nice to him. Like calling him my brother anyway after making an excuse, and also talking about my father, saying to my father like even though after I said to her that I refused for him to be my father because of what he did, crashed into a food truck, and so then I told her that he's not my father. Like, no, I said I don't want to talk to him anymore. Like, he's a disgrace. You don't deserve to have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. I said, that's what I was saying, something like that to Heather. And she said, no, he's your father. No, she's like, no, don't say that. He loves you, William. And you don't need to say something like that to Steven, okay? He's there. He's a nice person still. And also, he's your father. Remember that. I fucking hated it when she said that. And then I said, he's not my father. I'm a different species because I'm a different species. And she said, okay, no, okay. And she like accept that. So then I was saying, so then I was saying to Heather that like no. She called him my father anyway. And also I told her about the story about how they broke up. Heather, I mean, between Karen and my father, and that if you want to know what happened, okay, so he got drunk, and I think I told you guys this already. Like Karen said to him, but just in case, I'm gonna say this again. Like, Karen said to him that she didn't want to talk to him anymore. So he took so and that's what, and she had these flashbacks of him being with his girlfriend, and so he'd start the car and like drove back up, and he crashed into the food truck. When I said to him, he damaged the car, and he said, I did not damage the car. And then I said that Lou said it deployed, the half the car was destroyed, and he said, no, it's not destroyed. No, it's not destroyed. So, I'm gonna like harass him by telling him I don't want to talk to him anymore, and that I'm going to block him as punishment. I'm gonna fucking do that. So also, she was saying to me like we were talking about my Andrew, and she was saying to me that like one of the things I didn't like is that she said to me that oh yeah, I said to her that, you all know what the next thing he did? And she said, what? Like, I hated when she said what, like a demanding. And then he backed up the car, and then that's the next thing that happened. And after I told her the car crash thing, or she said, but that was wrong. Well, that was wrong, don't you think? And I said, I forgot why I didn't answer, but she said, she demanded me the question again. She's like, I said that was wrong, right? or was that wrong? And I said, yes. I fucking hated that. And and she's just being nice. And I told her that she was demanding me questions, like demanding me an answer, like I asked her that, especially about Andrew's friend Brandon, and she said, no, we don't need like two conversations. Like you talk about that conversation, and you talk about something a different subject. They're all the same thing, Heather. So I hate it when people I talk about like that's not relevant. Okay, man, shut the fuck up. Okay, I get to say any irrelevant thing I want. Okay. So then, yeah, same thing what my therapist said, like, that's irrelevant. And I told her that I can say whatever irrelevant thing I want. So then, um, I told my, okay. I told Heather that, no, so, oh yeah, Heather was telling me, you wanna know why we were demanding you questions? Okay, so, actually, oh, I'll explain about that later. But we can. I'll talk about Brandon later. But right now, like because all this about Heather. I have decided to do this later because because you know I'm gonna like retaliate at her like much later, not now. So I'm gonna like take a break and like where I left off last time. So um we'll I'll talk to you guys later. So this is it for the final part, and bye.